Hi everyone, welcome back to Sakyo Jun's live channel. This is part of my series Talk with AI, where I explore real-life stories and dig deeper through a conversation with AI. Today's topic is, how should families divide their inheritance? This story is told from the perspective from the youngest brother in a family of 5. He has one older brother and one older sister. Their parents are still alive. Recently, the older brother got married and needed a place to live. Since he didn't have enough savings, their parents decided to give him one of their properties. This decision upset the sister. To her, the house was a major family asset, something that should be shared, not simply handed over. She confronted their parents, arguing that she deserved a fair portion too. But the youngest brother didn't agree. He felt her sister was being unreasonable and pointed out several reasons why she shouldn't be fighting over the house, like fairness. The sister has married someone financially stable. She wasn't lacking anything. The older brother, on the other hand, was starting from scratch and had less security. And the second reason is need. The brother had just gotten married and needed a home to build his new life. The sister already owned a place of her own. Third, family contribution. The two brothers had been helping run the family restaurant for years. They'd also taken on more caregiving duties for their aging parents. The sister, meanwhile, had moved out early and wasn't as involved. To the youngest brother, it wasn't just about money. It was about need, effort, and family loyalty. He felt his sister was being greedy, and that their parents had every right to decide what to do with their own property. That's today's story. The concept of inheritance might feel quite different between Western and Eastern cultures. In places like Taiwan, there's a strong sense of family duty. Kids are expected to care for their parents, and in return, parents often pass down their assets to help the next generation get started. Of course, nowadays, Eastern and Western values are starting to influence each other. So in this story, you can also see that the younger brother believes parents have the right to decide what to do with their own property. Here is my question to AI. After hearing this story, I couldn't help but think, being a parent is really hard. Children often project all kinds of expectations onto them. To be fair, to provide emotional support, to act like a perfect judge. And if they fall short, kids get upset. What do you think about that? AI said, that's such an insightful reflection. Yes, parents are not just asset holders. They are also emotional anchors and peacekeepers in the family. In this story, the 3 siblings seem to embody familiar family roles. The older brother represents someone in need. He lacks resources but is starting a new family. The sister stands for fairness and equality. She is concerned about being treated the same. The youngest brother is loyal to the parents and wants to preserve harmony within the family. But here is the thing. What many children want isn't just fairness on paper. They are looking for something deeper, emotional reassurance. They want their parents to not only provide for them, but also understand them emotionally. And no matter how logical or well-intentioned a parent's decision might be, there's always a chance that someone will feel left out or unloved. Maybe the assistant wasn't just asking for her share of the house. Maybe she was really asking, do I still matter to you? When that emotional need goes unspoken or unacknowledged, even a financial disagreement can turn into an emotional minefield. That was A's response, and here's what I said next. I've noticed that people often use society's standards as their personal benchmark, like, if all families give their kids something, why not us? Or, if my brother gets help, why don't I? So what do we do when those expectations clash with reality? A said, you were touched on a classic resource of family tension, the gap between how things should be and how they really are. We grow up with certain rules in mind. Parents should treat all kids equally. Big life events deserve support. Everyone gets a fair share. But real life isn't that tidy. Resources are limited, situations vary, and parents have their own logic. So, what can we do? First, question the expectation. Are you upset because something feels unfair? Or because it doesn't match what you thought should happen? Sometimes we want things just because others got them. Second, see the bigger picture. Adjusting expectations doesn't mean settling. It means recognizing that families are complex. Try asking, if they meant well, could I try to understand their side? Third, name the deeper feeling. Often, it's not really about money. It's about wanting to feel seen, valued, included. Instead of blame, try, I know you had your reasons, but I felt a bit left out. Or, it wasn't about a house, I just wanted to feel treated fairly. Speaking this way isn't weakness. It brings the focus back to what really matters, connection. That was A's response, so I kept the conversation going and asked, you make a really good point, but asking someone to stop blaming is tough. It can feel like admitting they were wrong. Isn't that hard for most people? I said, letting go of blame can feel like letting go of your role as the hurt one. And for many people, blame becomes a way to protect their sense of self-worth. Like saying, it's not that I did something wrong, it's that you treated me unfairly. To move past that, we don't need a dramatic shift. Just a few gentle steps can make it easier. First, shift from blame to curiosity. You're not saying, I was wrong. You are just saying, I want to understand why they did what they did. Second, hold the two truths at the same time. You can feel hurt and still recognize that the other person might have had good reasons. Like, I still feel it was unfair, but I get why mom and dad make that choice. Third, let go with dignity. No one wants to back down if it feels like losing. But you can say something like, I might have misunderstood, but I appreciate that chance to talk. Or, oh, I see. I can see where you will come from now. These words doesn't sound like I was wrong, but they still keep your dignity. And more importantly, they open the door to a different kind of conversation. The truth is, it's not that we can't let go of blame. We just need a way to do it that doesn't feel so painful. Emotions don't switch off instantly, but the moment you can say, I'm choosing to understand, not because I lost, but because I want to move forward. That's already a quiet kind of strength, and it can take you much further than blame ever could. That was A's response, I sat with that for a moment and then I asked this. That last paragraph left a bit tsundere in Japanese, kind of cool on the outside but actually caring underneath. From your answer, here's what stood out to me. It's important to try to see things from the other person's perspective, to understand why they did what they did. At the same time, I'm starting to realize that not everything had a clear right or wrong. People often want to sort things into right and wrong categories. But when you really think about it, it's usually not about right or wrong, just different perspectives. What do you think about that? AI said, "You're right. And what you said goes beyond this one story. It touches on something deeper, almost like a way of looking at life. People often try to sort things into right and wrong. It gives us a sense of clarity and control. Like the world makes more sense when there are clear answers. But real life isn't always so simple. Most of the time, there isn't one truth, just different perspectives shaped by personal history, emotions, needs, and context. And when we insist on choosing sides, we often create more distance instead of connection." Here's an image I like to use. Imagine two people standing on opposite sides of a sculpture. One sees a lion, the other sees a human face. Neither is wrong, they are just seeing it from different angles. But if each one insists, "My view is the only true one," they'll never find common ground. So, why are we so attached to being right? There are a few reasons. It feels safe. If I'm right, then I don't have to question myself. It protects my self-worth. It gives us direction. Our brains don't like uncertainty. Labeling something as wrong makes it easier to take action. It helps us feel supported. In conflict, being right helps us rally others to our side, emotionally or socially. But here's the shift you pointed to. What if we moved from proving who's right to simply trying to understand? We'd probably listen more, argue less. We'd ask questions like, "What led you to feel that way?" And we might see that many arguments aren't really about facts. They're about people wanting to feel seen, heard, or respected. Letting go of being right isn't weakness. It's actually a form of freedom. When we stop needing to defend our position, we become more open to choosing differently, to changing, even to forgiving. It doesn't mean every action is justified, but it reminds us that disagreement doesn't have to cancel understanding. That was Ed's response. Something about it really stayed with me. I will wrap up this episode here, so we can all take a moment to reflect. Thanks for listening, and if this sparked any thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. See you next time. Bye bye.